Hi my art students, it's Ms. Schuler and Tessa here. This week we are doing a project inspired by the colors of autism and we're going to trace our hands. So the supplies you need are, of course, a piece of paper. It could probably be just your computer paper, a white paper, any size. You need a pencil, a marker. You need the colors, and I'm using markers, but you can use paint, you can use crayons, any materials you guys have at home works also. So you need these colors. You need light blue, red, yellow, dark blue, and you also can use green. I have seen in some autism ribbons that they also use light green. So you can use green if you want to. You don't have to. You can stick with the 4 colors, or you can also use green. So let's start creating art. Tessie, you ready? So let's start. Alright, I am ready. I have just a piece of scrap paper underneath of my paper that I'm going to work on because I don't want to get any markers or permanent marker on top of my kitchen counter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my paper and I'm actually going to trace my hand in Sharpie, or you guys can use marker or pencil. But I just like that nice black line. So the first thing you're going to do, and you might want to pull up your sleeves a little bit, you're going to trace your hand. So use the hand that you write with to trace your hand. You can trace, if you have trouble tracing your hand, you can have somebody trace your hand for you. But you want to trace your hand multiple times. So that means more than once on this piece of paper. Maybe you trace your hand 5 times. Maybe you trace your hand how old you are. So I have one hand. And you are going to keep tracing your hands. You are going to overlap. Overlap means that there is 2 things touching each other. So I have now my hands are overlapping, creating a little space. So I'm going to keep turning my paper as I trace my hand. And you want to create spaces. The more little spaces you have, the more color you're going to have to do. So keep that in mind. Maybe you only trace your hand a couple times. So maybe 4 or 5 times. Or you can stop whenever you want to. And you can crop your fingers off. So maybe you don't trace all your fingers, but you lay them over your page, creating different shapes. And it's okay if you get mark on your fingers, it will wash off. Let me trace my fingers down here. Alright, so now since I traced my hand, we're going to start adding color. Like I said, you can use markers, crayons, watercolors, paint, whatever you have at home, you can. So I'm going to start coloring in different spaces. So the challenge is you don't want 2 colors, 2 of the same color next. And I'm going to bring my finished piece over to show you guys. So I don't want to color yellow and then put a yellow space right next to it. You want to use a different color. So the challenge is going to be harder when you're going to add more colors, but you can do it. Since we're working with 4 colors, it's doable. So I'm just going to pick a spot and I'm going to just start coloring. So I just got to make sure to stay inside the line, and also to fill this space in with lots of color. I don't want to see no scribbles. I want to see solid color. So take your time. And you can work on this for a couple of days. You can take a break from it. This is your artwork. So I want to see really cool work. So I have some blue. Maybe you take one color and you just do blue in random spaces and then start with another color. But I'm actually going to do red. I'm going to put red next to this space. Maybe you work in a section and you start with one color and then another color. Maybe you have a pattern happening. This is your artwork, so whatever happens, happens. And dark blue. Yellow. we kind of get the point of where this is going to happen. And here's my finished piece. So you want to keep on coloring until you have your every shape colored. It could be these little shapes that are right here. Color them in. And the bigger spaces have a lot more color. So I'm going to I'll do red here. And your goal is to try to stay inside of these lines. So if you have little spaces, take your time. I'll do red. So it's kind of almost like a puzzle piece of where you're sticking your colors. So if I did red, can I put red here? No, because I did red here because it's going to touch that space. So you have to look around at your surrounding colors of what's going to touch that space of what you're coloring. And if you have any questions, email me, leave me a comment on Google Classroom, and I will get back to you. So I'm going to stop here, and here is my finished piece once I was all finished. And like I said, you don't have to use green if you don't want to, but you're going to stick with 4 colors of yellow, red, dark blue, and light blue. Alrighty, I want to see all your finished projects. Have fun.